No.
Okay, that'll do. All right, we live and we're gonna announce that we're going live because this is kind of a we're sorting shit out in real time.
Yep. If you don't know who I am, I'm Lapis or Lappy. Uh, Not Levi, as somebody called me. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't know
know
where Levi came from. That's
why,
interesting.
unless this lighting situation is cool.
We're doing fine. My bottle of tequila in the back over there. I'll just point out shit that I know people are gonna start nitpicking at. That's pretty much the point of all of this, anyway. All right, me and Lappy are going live right now on Instagram or on YouTube. I've not gone live on YouTube before, but go to the Good Morning Mayberry YouTube. Uh,
You can Google it. It
yeah,
literally
just
is
look
good.
it up. Go in the search bar, type it in. That's fine. Me and Lappy
That was great.
Yeah. I'll tag you in this,
Yeah,
and then
can
we'll
you
just start
see
talking.
if people come in here? Okay, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and probably people are being alerted, but I never really go live on. I never have gone live on YouTube before.
And there's somebody there.
Someone just arrived. Welcome to the room. If you want to introduce yourself, we would not hate that. We would actually very much like to know. Hi. Good to see you. Um, I'm just setting this up so that we've got it announced that we're going live on here. Good morning, Mayberry.
Yeah, if you can tell other people to come in,
Mm-hmm.
listen, because
It'll
it's
it'll
like,
be up later too, though. So,
yeah, it's like a developing situation, so it's like real time.
uh, yeah, one thing to know is Nila's got me blocked, so I can't tag her in anything, and she's over there talking about me publicly, saying a lot of things that I can't respond to fairly, which is interesting. I feel it's interesting for her to identify as a white woman and be so suppressive of my actual voice, but want to speak for me and about me a lot. But um, and then yeah, okay, so yeah, oh, oh, I see. Okay. All right. We are going to get into this in a second. We're going to actually watch Neela's video and pause it to kind of get the more recent one that's 14 minutes. She had an hour long live that she put up in the middle of the night. It's funny because I don't I don't like to if unless people are causing like significant harm in the world, I don't judge diversity of tactics when people are coming at social justice and like looking for change kind of things. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and say something that I don't like Neela's tactics of getting triggered and going live to do rants. I think that that's fine for her to do if she feels like that's her method. But now that she started throwing bricks at me, I don't know what to say because we're not in the same camp. We're not on the same side. We're not united. I don't know what she's talking. There's no uniting when you're blocking a marginalized person and then talking for marginalized people. That's not united. I'm not comfortable with that. I think that anything that stems off of that is probably based in disingenuous ego problems, you know. And for somebody that's worried about me talking about myself all the time, she didn't know me for very long, you know. And I've actually gotten a couple of people that dropped into my DMs to talk about it and kind of agreed with her about some things. And it's exclusively people that ask me a ton of questions about myself to the point that I've been uncomfortable, but it's hard to throttle how much attention to give people or what to respond to in a position when you're a public figure. And I put myself in the middle of a cesspool of fuckery with like almost no protection whatsoever. So anyway, 2 seconds and we'll really get into it. I gotta tag you still in that. I'm gonna tag you. All right.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this.
So we're gonna play her most recent live, and we're going to react to everything. And also, we watched a couple of our other lives too, so we're gonna just like touch on some points, some talking points, and get our, you know, things in. So
live again. I just took my anxiety medication.
hold on, let me.
I'm going live again. I just took my anxiety medication. So hopefully it will kick in at some point so I can just like ease into this because I don't like doing this shit, but it has to be done. Like, that's just the truth. Like, seeing how quickly this is all escalating, the predator shit, the accusations, the weaponizing her whiteness and her privilege and her power, really to the detriment of marginalized people, specifically at this moment, Black and queer people, Lapi and I don't know if I should name. I mean, everyone knows Shift, but I'm just saying that they're being targeted right now by Alexa. And
Let's pause
I've
right
said
there.
it before.
What in the world would make her think that she maybe shouldn't name me when I am already the main target of all of the aggression that's happening right now? That confused me offhand. But I recently learned through a third party that I believe Nila is talking about in this video. I'm not going to make specific assumptions, even though I have every reason to believe that I am 100% sure I know who's being addressed. But Nila, I connected Nila with a person who Alexa had grown up with. We had a 3-way call, and I introduced the two of them, and this person conveyed to Nila that there's more to the story, more to know about Alexa. We're not all crazy, and this isn't new. And that was the last time that I spoke to Nila, because at some point in the next like week or so, I guess Nila blocked me. I was informed, and I'll be making a separate video reading and showing all of the text messages that this person sent me to inform me that Nila had blocked me, and also inform me on behalf of Kaylee that I was being distanced from, even though I just spent the day prior at Kaylee's house working with Kaylee. It was all very confusing and bizarre, but we will get to the bottom of that. Again, I don't know why it would make sense to not mention me, but to mention, what's the purpose of mentioning Lappy and supporting Lappy actively and kind of being trepidatious about even mentioning support of me when I'm the one that's being targeted and in danger?
Yeah. Let's be clear that I am supporting Shift and that I came out to the protest to support Shift as well as the other survivors of Alexa Nikolas, but Shift in particular because of the aggression that Alexa has exerted. And so much so that when I put myself in front of Shift, actually, I got there first. And I was there for about approximately like 20, maybe 30 minutes before Shift actually arrived. And she said she was going to call the police when I started playing by myself. So she had so much aggression that was just like blindsided that she already sensed, of course, because I was there in, you could say, opposition, but really I was just there. I was just there. And she wanted to call the police because I was there doing my thing. So she sicked her people on me. And then when Shift arrived, she actually called the police. So I was, pretty much a casualty in her aggression towards Shift. So to mention Shift is a necessary thing. Don't just kind of put Shift to the side and say, Lappy, poor Lappy. No, poor Lappy, because I was a second degree murder in the first degree character assassination of Shift. So let's get to it.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Nobody is perfect in this, although Lappy, I really don't think has done anything wrong, but at least those of us are involved in predators. I think we all have some faults to admit to, but at the same time, Alexa is the aggressor. Alexa is the abuser, and the way she has handled this and the way it has escalated in such a textbook white supremacist feminist manner is exactly why this needs to be talked about, because this is exactly what happens. I mean, I just saw on Lappy's page, and I posted his statement because I support him and I support Shift. Even if I don't fucking like Shift, I'm not going to let Shift be destroyed by Alexa's like unstable identity and pettiness and like revenge agenda, because it's not fair. They were protesting. I saw video of them protesting. They were protesting peacefully in the same public area that Alexa and her Free Britney clowns were all protesting. They don't seem to understand civil rights and that everybody has them. And so she did.
So, to be clear, at TriStar in February, I went by myself and I was handing out flyers for two things. One, mystifying Melanie Carlson, who's come on my show and has since, because of this smear campaign, has blocked me without a fucking word, even though she committed to my audience to come back on and talk about. She committed to talking about further things. She's gone out of her way to try and distance herself. I'm not sure how she's going to pull that off, because I will be addressing it. I will be continuing to talk about things with my interactions with her and how I've been impacted, how her blocking me is damages for the defamation. That's a funny thing. And so what I'm trying to figure out is what people are missing. But for now, I'll just tell you, I was handing out flyers for Mystifying's event. She wanted to put together a rally in DC. She was getting permits for it. She was putting things together, informational pieces. I found out about this and we had 6 days to figure it out. I went and I asked her to give me 5 sentences, 4 to 5 sentences. I'll put you on the bottom of my flyer, because I'm going to hand out a flyer about the episode with Kaylee and Kay, the real and true origin stories of e-predators. And she sent me 5 paragraphs with variables. I had to go do market research and I had to fucking put in numbers so that people could see how much of the market does Live Nation and Ticketmaster hold? How long have they been doing this and that? Who worked for so-and-so at what point? It was pretty simple stuff, but it was stuff I still had to spend about a half hour when I had no time doing research, because I support her work. I was serious about her. So I do all of that. I paid for the flyers. I printed them out. I brought them and I handed them out. And I'm telling people about this event that she's doing online and in DC. I know we're in California, but people have connections all over the country and world. So I know that it's worth my time to do what I'm doing. I know it's worth my investment. And even if it falls short, I'll learn something. And it was only $30, and some of my time to invest is worth my time. $30 I need today. $30 I wish I hadn't spent a little bit a couple of weeks ago. Like, it'd be great if I had that right now. But I don't regret a thing. This second protest, where they were marching around in front of red light, I was going to go either way. And then I started recognizing how dangerous it was. I had people calling me saying, stay away from her. She's making these claims. You're going to get hurt. And I'm thinking, this is ironic that people are advising me to, like, basically support her in tearing me apart without nothing's happened yet. I haven't gotten hurt. Nobody's gotten in my face. Nobody's told me to leave. Nobody's told me to go away. Nobody's told me, hey, Shift, we don't talk to you because you are creepy, because you did these things, and you're abusive because you did here's a list of things you actually do. Be actually accountable for these actual things. It's, if anything, well, after I've been like, hey guys, can we have accountability around this fucking problem that we're kind of having structural problems? There's instability. Somebody's getting hurt. Maybe it's me that's getting hurt, whatever it is. After I bring something to a table of people that are like, why would you ever check us? We're your team. You're supposed to be mad at whoever's on the other side. And they get an ego problem. And they were like, hold on, we got to talk about, so that we are right when we go out into the world. Can we talk about our problems internally? How is that a problem? How is that a problem? Is that, I want someone to tell me what I need to be accountable for. If there's a list of things, tell me what it is. This second protest, though, I showed up because Lapi was coming. And Lapi comes all the way out from Chicago and said, I'm performing at this protest.
And let's be clear, too. I was not ordered to come here. You think I just come to Los Angeles because somebody told me to?
Does that, if we're working for Black Box or TriStar or Larry Rudolph or any of that, where's my fucking check? Do I have to take you to the labor board, TriStar? Where's my check, y'all? Like,
I come out to Los Angeles because I make the most money here. And when I saw an opportunity for me to perform my music at the protest, I said, oh, yes, of course, I want to do this. And I was the one who decided to do this. I was not told to do this. I was not asked to do this. Can you believe it?
At all.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't even remote. It didn't even occur to me. And it scared me at first. I had to decide to join that. Once I decide I'm joining something, though, as people who saw me in Eat Predators know, I show all the way up.
So I'm not a flying monkey. And the term that Alexa used in general doesn't apply to me either way. So, you know, she just tried it. She failed. I don't know what she thought she was gonna get with that. She didn't eat for sure because people thought that she was talking about a real monkey. In her comments, somebody said, "Is the monkey okay? Is it abused? Do they have a permit?" Girl, what? See, y'all done dehumanized people to the point that people really think you're talking about real animals.
Well, and there's more concern about the monkey than me as a person because people are like, stalkers aren't real people. And she's identified me as a stalker. So now she's got strangers worried about a monkey that doesn't exist. And she's got people telling each other and her not to even humanize me, to fully strip me of my humanity, refer to me only in criminalizing and demonizing rhetoric, and just embrace that shit.
Yeah. So
we got 2 people in the room right now. I don't want to call you out. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but I wouldn't hate it if you say hi and introduce yourself or whatever. Even if you are Alexa or Miko, who knows who's here watching anything. Apparently, we're stalking people. I'm stalking people.
We're obsessed.
I don't have time to be doing all the things that I'm being claimed to have done right now. And what's funny, I just looked the other day, like 2 days ago. Google has been tracking my every move for years. I didn't realize that this setting was on. I figured, oh, when did this come on? And I thought maybe a few months ago. No, it goes back like years and years and years. I don't move during a lockdown. Like I'm just like in one spot for all of a couple of years. And then now I'm all over the place. So it shows me driving to the gigs that I've been driving to and fro. It shows me everywhere I've been. It shows every fucking where I've fucking been. So that's fun. That's been interesting. But again, I want to be clear too. I did go to the TriStar protest to hand out flyers for the rally in DC and for the episode with Kaylee and Kay coming on to talk about their experience with Alexa. That said, everything was really chill that day. It's all on camera for anybody that wants to take the time. But there's no footage of any aggression. There's no footage of anybody rushing at anybody.
Except for them.
No, they didn't even rush at me that day. At Red Light, they rushed at Lapi.
Yeah.
At Red Light, Melanie.
Twice. And 2 different people.
Well,
like, they actually came all the way to me and in my face. And I had to tell them, excuse me. First of all, social distance. Okay. I know COVID restrictions are still in the state of California. So please, social distance. And second of all, this is my First Amendment right that you're infringing upon. Like, there's a clear line that you passed, and I made sure to be on this side of the line, so I'm not doing nothing towards you. And I turned towards the opposite direction. You see me in video singing in the opposite direction,
where there's a balcony of people having like their lunch and break and stuff. It was like Red Light and TikTok employees
to say like, "Oh, you're silencing her." How can I silence somebody who has a megaphone? Okay, I'm out here. I was actually acoustically singing and playing violin. And then after my vocals started to go out, I used the megaphone at a lower level.
All the way down at
not even towards the building, towards the street corner, okay, away from them. And they even pointed theirs towards me because the building is, in front of me. To make sure that, like, it, of course, drowns me out. How can they be drowning me out and I'm silencing her at the same time? And someone said, I couldn't hear her over you. They were filming behind her. Maybe that's why you couldn't hear her. I don't know. Like, why are y'all trying to make me the problem? And it's clear that she was trying to create a problem out of me being there. There was no issue. I asked for permission from the building before I started performing, which I know they didn't. And they told me exactly where I could be. So I made sure to be within whatever limitations that they had provided. And actually, there were no real limitations other than just being behind a certain barrier.
We made up the limitations so that we could have distance. We picked arbitrarily and just organically. They were on one side. There's a walkway to enter the buildings. They were on one side of it. I dropped Lapi off, and then I had to go do some other shit. I came back, and Lapi had chosen a spot that was on the other side of the walkway, and there was at least 25 feet in between their group and Lapi. So when I got there, I had to walk past their group to get to Lapi, but I didn't walk on the sidewalk. There was a parking bay. They're all taking up the whole sidewalk. So I walked on the line between the parking bay and the fucking street. And then I go to Lapi, and I'm 25, 30 feet away from all of them. As I'm passing by the group, Alexa's husband said, Mikey Snow, according to his teenage friends, went and says to Alexa, "Oh, Shift is here." And then the next thing I know, they're faking police calls like there's some danger. But I just sat down next to Lappy. They really do. One thing that Nila said just a second ago that makes sense. People seem to not understand how civil rights work. And frankly, it's tough for me because I do want to articulate the difference between protesting and counter-protesting and how I don't feel there's a good word for me at all in any of that. And I'm in all of my history of things, I did work with BLM, Occupy, I've been around. One of my favorite things is when a counter-protest erupts from within the protest. Mm-hmm. That means people are thinking. That means people are talking. That means stuff is moving, right? And so, and a lot of people really hate it, or they're confused by, why would you work against each other? Shouldn't you be on the same side? And that's homogenizing to the abundant diversity that humanity brings. And all of the different individualized forms of trauma that we've all gone through, which is interesting. I actually like talking about other people's trauma a lot more than my own. Wherever possible, I like talking about how we collectively engage when we are traumatized. So that's I'm not even going to get into that right now, but I will be addressing the way that I am being talked about with the way that I talk, especially with people that ask me a lot of questions, trying to get with me and Nila. We're still in getting to know each other mode. We only talk about each other. How do you get to know somebody if you don't talk about yourself that whole time? I'm getting off topic. I'm starting to fly off the handle.
I mean, it hits points that are going to be made. So.
The Caroline Bryant thing that we've already been accusing her of, she fucking proved it. And she did her little white girl tears and started crying. And it really sickens me that everybody keeps centering her feelings and her feelings alone. And trying to use a pregnancy card is some kind of get out of jail free card for her actions. I did not choose to get her pregnant. I didn't get her pregnant. How is that my fucking problem? You know, if you don't want to be in this situation, you should have not put yourself in this situation. You, at some point, should have recognized, Alexa, that you are wholly unqualified to lead a movement because you have severe, probably, allegedly undiagnosed or potentially diagnosed mental and emotional issues, and you need help. And we don't hate you. I feel bad for you, dude. This is embarrassing. This is harmful to not just you. This is harmful to so many real survivors. This is harmful to so many fucking women, to so many marginalized people who time and time again, their voices are silenced in favor of white fucking tears. And as a mixed white person, I am fucking tired of it. I'm fucking done. I don't fucking care about your white tears, Alexa. Get the fuck over it. Grow up. You decide...
I do want to say that the fake tears were actually fake. Like, she was from the beginning. And then when Shift came, it was like action. Oh my God. She was like, it was so bad. I'm like, girl, you haven't had acting classes in a long time. I can tell because this is bad. This is really bad.
It was the same level of skill she's had her whole life. It was written, produced, directed by Dan Schneider Energy, and I don't know what to say about it besides that. She is embarrassing, and it's fucking sad. I really, honestly, I keep expecting her to step it up a little bit, and she's dropping in her capacity to perform this thing. My fear was that it would get stronger as she got deeper into it, but the truth really does reveal itself, and she's only got so many lines. The next step, if the details about me don't work, is just, I'm just triggered. I'm just something. She'll start owning it, and it'll just be words like, it'll be a Mad Lib of types of things that trauma conditions come with.
Because she's done the research, but she hasn't lived it.
One thing I want to say, if you watch the award that she got during PAVE, she gives a speech and she actually tells on herself. She talks about how, until I found PAVE, I didn't have a language to tell my story. PAVE fed her the lines to even get started with this whole, it's true. It's like a 2-minute, I'll fucking clip it and put it in something sometime. Do a whole day. Since it's like this, I'm going to step my game up. Y'all want the best version of me? It's not good enough for me to have my heart broken. It's not good enough for me to be grieving. After everything that I pulled my life together from, I'm a victim. I'm a hero. I saved myself. I had a failed fundraiser that Michael Gill just dragged up out of the depths of the internet, where you cannot get things. Trying to get shit out of the internet is like trying to get pee out of a pool. Good luck. Good luck. I don't want to. I could have pulled that fundraiser down. And I thought to myself, what if somebody ever tries to find this and use it against me to make me look like I'm less than I am when I've done all this work to pull myself out of the hole? You can see in the fundraiser, my community didn't fucking show up for me. And the people who did show up for me did have to suffer watching my heart break more and more as my practical material goals were not met. And when I say my goals, I mean knowing where I'm going to shit, shower, and sleep. Fuck you. You know, like if I have anything wrong with me for having any emotions about that, fucking fuck you. Like,
it shows more about him trying to make fun of you or trying to make you seem like, oh, you don't have your shit together, you're a worthless person for needing help.
I bootstrapped myself. I literally magicked myself, and I didn't want to, for my niece and nephew, for my brother, because they could not bury me under those conditions. They would have been probably the only people to show up for me at that point. And like, honestly, actually, my brother called me. He was like, and he's chosen family, somebody I met in high school, Paul, and he's going to be coming on my show at some point. Maybe if we're lucky, my niece and nephew will too. But he reminded me that my niece would never recover from that. He had to install her back in my mind because I was so blinded from pain and just exhaustion. I was working like 15 to 17 hours a day to keep a hotel roof over my head alone while I had nonprofits calling me. The Spaher Center, the only LGBTQ community center north of San Francisco, which is a lie, that's just their slogan, contacted me because somebody was concerned about me. Committed housing resources, committed all the resources that I would need, income, housing. They even kind of dangled a job in their organization over my head and failed me on every front. So not only was I thinking that I had solutions, I didn't work to solve my own problems during these stretches of time until they would tell me, or like really passive aggressively let me know, not even tell me directly, but give me the information somehow that something they had committed wasn't available. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, I shouldn't have taken a day off last week. I don't have enough money to make sure that I have gas and a roof and a bathtub and a shitter and all that was that was this time last year that I was going through that. I solved my problem. I'm salaried right now. My boss loves me. I just got an advance so I could move into this place. I paid the deposit on this place on my own without anybody helping out. To get in here this week, I did have to ask for a little bit of a loan because tonight I'm driving 7 hours to a gig with repeat clients who fucking love me. So here's the thing too. All this stalker talk, all this like, oh, Shift, I'll support him, but he might be a problem in a bunch of ways that I won't define clearly or whatever. This is all stuff that can impact my ability to work in my field. I am not dangerous. I showed up to help people. I stuck around because here's the thing too. Michael Gill, who pulled up my fundraiser, also doxed a bunch of survivors, young ones who have serious cases, because he took a screenshot of the first book club. That book club Alexa should have never started was dangerous. I enjoyed most of the people there, but there were lurkers in the very first meeting that people don't even know about. Still to this day, people that were a part of the book club in the Discord. I just told somebody last night who was breaking up with me. I decided I want to call her Leah because she's got a pretty iconic name, but like I do need to talk about her and I don't want people to know exactly who I'm talking about. Leah has broken up with me and is telling me essentially that she saw Nila's video and for her own safety, she's going to be unfollowing me, but it's not anything I did and don't blame myself kind of shit. I'm thinking, okay, that's bad timing since we met in this book club community, this Discord community. Fucked up timing since people are calling me a creepy, like what? Abuser on the end. I'm abusive. I'm creepy. Like tell people what happened, please. Give incidental details. What date and time did I perform what behavior? Because you saw me grieving on live isn't abusing you. You saw me grieving on live talking about how shunning is psychological torture. That is a psychological torture tactic, coercive control, psychological torture tactic. Me describing how that can instigate suicidal ideation in people while I'm on the cusp of it and describing how much work I've done to keep myself out of trauma pits and I'm being kicked by everybody that I'm hanging out with for the last several weeks into a hole. Look at me go. How is that victim shit? How is that me being a fucking victim? When do I say I'm a victim of somebody? Have I ever used that rhetoric and language? I've got videos of being stupid all over the internet. I say dumb things. I forget myself while I'm talking just like Nila. Find the fucking video. Find the fucking video, clip it up, and show me where I talk like that. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. We didn't get that far, and we're not actually watching that video of Nilas. That's an hour-long video where somewhere in the middle, she starts mocking when I'm expecting her to explain why she doesn't like me to her audience. I'm thinking at some point we're going to get somewhere with this, and we're going to have a moment where she brings it together and gives people something to grab onto as a real thing. Because she's saying, I'm not accountable for my shit. I'm not that. I don't know how I can be accountable for things that people don't bring to me. They block me. They yell at me for grieving. They tell Nila's whole thing with me. All I know is that I shouldn't have been friends with younger adults, grown adults. And I shouldn't be friends with anybody because I don't even know where the cutoff age is. And everybody my age, everybody over 30, blocks me without a word because Autumn Whitaker tells them a bunch of bullshit and maybe send screenshots of my text messages that I told somebody else that sent them to her in confidence. I don't even know what to say about any of that. That's confusing right now to anybody who doesn't know what's going on, but I will have a second video completely clarifying all of that, showing all the receipts from that interaction. Yeah. There are a bunch of receipts you're not getting until they go through a court of law and become public record. Those I'm willing to take the risk and show you first because fuck that bitch. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And I'll show you back the history from before we got into it. We didn't even get into it. That motherfucker verbally assaulted me in text in time immemorial.
Unsolicited. I saw the text messages. Don't try it.
Do not try it. And I'm wondering who the third person in here. I think the second person might be Nila. I don't want to call you out. I'm not gonna say nothing more about it, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't think Nila's in the room. So I'm not gonna
lead a movement, so be a goddamn leader. You don't just get to go out when it's fun and then when it gets hard, you run and hide. What the fuck? What kind of general is that?
Nila?
You get everybody killed, and you are. And it's just insane to me that these lawyers are fucking ruining their fucking reputations and other survivors who they're representing that are legitimate survivors and deserve legitimate help, and you're fucking ruining their chances because of all of this is having to happen because of you and your fucking agenda to... I really don't know. I think it will come out in time. The more people expose you and talk. And what I think is really funny is, there is so much bias in this. There is so much bias. There has been so much consideration for one person's feeling. One sole, privileged ass, wealthy white girl. Everybody else is a liar. Everybody else is evil. Nobody else deserves any consideration. We're completely dehumanized. It is the most vile and illogical thing I've ever seen. And it's completely counterintuitive and productive to the actual message they're spreading. Because the second they harm someone, rather than taking accountability for it, which is literally all I wanted, I don't want money from her. I don't want to get paid for what I did. I don't care that I'm not on her podcast or I didn't get a fucking job or an interview or my name in an article. I don't fucking care. That's not what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this to help people because my fucking life was destroyed and I got no fucking help from anybody because I'm a fucking normal person like most people on this planet. Okay, so those are the people that I care about. And
okay, the respectability politics is done. I'm done with it. I don't even want... Listen, Kaylee is about to get dragged in my next video. I do not talk to Kaylee anymore. We're currently probably only following each other for political reasons still. I think we're probably never going to speak again, ever. I'm not 100% sure. I can't be sure. But I have plenty of things to say about Kaylee being... I don't know if I would say abusive. Certainly not deceitful. Quite the opposite. Too transparent, if anything. But we'll get into that in a minute. In a while. The thing I want to talk about here is Kaylee had every right to have the conversations that she had and the concerns that she had. Nila is, I'm not sure why, insisting that she doesn't have rights. I'm not sure why she wants to hold up civil rights, but not labor law rights. And business law is the thing. They had agreements. And part of starting up something like this is you get together, you do the thing. I got to plug in that computer. It's going to die. But you get together, you start the thing up, and then you have to draw up those agreements on paper. But until you get the paper agreements, there's a lot of variables that can be happening. And there are certain things that like kind of commonly occur. And wherever works, yeah. Excuse us, we need to power up over here. But the long and short is that Nila's wrong about this. She shouldn't be speaking ethically about stuff that there's legal bearing for. Kaylee never demanded anything from anybody, to my understanding. If there were conversations that I misunderstand or whatever, that's what it is. But Kaylee had every right to be angry, livid even, for the way that things were moving, especially considering how it's all turned out. Like if it hadn't turned into, look, it's the Alexa show and she's getting all the smoke that people are blowing up her ass, she's blowing right in my face. She's coming to me. and ruining my world with it. And so I don't even know what would be the purpose. What does it benefit Nila to even say things like that? She doesn't have to want the money and the podcast and whatever, but people have ambitions and people have goals that they showed up with. We all have what we need. And if Nila had I don't even know how she could say that because she was on the original podcast. I don't understand. I didn't want this, and I didn't. Then why? I get you were willing to be on a podcast. You were willing to take attention and fame, but you didn't want it, huh? Because I've actually had people leave my life because they're nervous about my ambition. They don't want to know me if I'm successful, and they believe in me. So we've had conflict where, like, one of my best friends, the parent of children they're my god kids, and I was there for them being born, both of them. Like, after the fact, she drops on me that she wanted me to keep performing, keep doing my podcast, keep being me, but not get famous. And she's crying to me on the phone, weeping, like we're going to figure out a solution and compromise between the two of us about that. And in my mind, I had this moment. There was a past version of me that would stab me right in the neck for turning on her for my goals. Like, I don't know what to say. I worked for things. I built my platform. There's a network and a community there. She was pulling on my heart and being manipulative with those babies and with her own love to try and create conditions for me that don't make sense. And nothing I was doing to turn away from her or set my life up to be success. She's got the safety nets. She's got the people safety nets. She's got the systemic and institutional safety nets. And I'm over here running as fast as I can to get a leading head start and try and jump over a crevice that nobody's protecting me from anything in the depths if I don't make it. And she wants me to second guess myself and slow down for a moment. I couldn't. So I don't know what this thing is where Nila doesn't have to have ambitions, except that it's hearkening to my concern. I think it's fine that people call themselves a single mother left and right or whatever, but I think it's weird that there's not a secondary word for people that get to raise their kids with their families. It's different. It's one thing if you have a co-parent. It's another thing if something else is going on. And she's got something else going on. She's not alone. She has a huge family of support. She posts about them all the time. She talks about them all the time. And it bothers me because I know real single parents, moms and dads, and people who just were around and some kid got dropped on them. So I don't appreciate it very much, but I wonder if her lack of ambition is because she's got enough love. Her heart has the safety net. Like, it's not because you can struggle and strive on a practical level to try and step up and show up and be your best self. But when you have someone to take care of your heart during your failures, that changes everything. So I think that's what she's talking about. I don't know about Kaylee's situation. I know that Kaylee has some solid relationships with family. I don't know how far and wide they go or how much work Kaylee does to show up for them or how much they show up for her. It seems like it's pretty mutual. But I still think that Kaylee has a right to have ambitions. I know that mine have gotten stronger and less. I can't turn away from them because I know that people will abandon me. Like, if I abandon myself for other people, they will later abandon me and then I'll have nothing. So I'm going to keep going as hard as I can. I know the value of my work. I actually have an episode coming out with Michael Gill because he came on my show a while back before he started harassing and doxing all of us and doing all this terrible, terrible shit on his Twitter. It's happening so fast, I can't even keep up with it. I can't report fast enough. Most of my friends aren't on Twitter. So when I go alert people to it, they're like, oh, sorry, I'll help if I can or whatever. I'll get to it later. I'll get my husband's account on it or whatever. And it's like, okay, fine. This is happening fast in real time. And people are not doing anything besides coming out to support me by denouncing me. So I don't know what to say.
And the Free Britney people, they're on Lapi's page and they're fucking dumb, dude. None of these people know what they're doing. They're like fucking just playing activism. They're like, I don't understand why you had to protest directly next to Alexa and sing over her protest. It's like, then you're stupid. Then you actually don't understand the point of a protest is to disrupt and is to call attention. And exactly what Alexa and all of you have been doing, protesting, calling people out who you believe are abusers, and many of them I support and thinking they're abusers, you seem to not think those same tactics apply to you, that people can.
I have to say this too. We were not protesting.
We didn't.
Because protesting is a specific targeted event where you are asking for something. We were performing. We're artists. I am a singer and a violinist. and I was singing and playing the violin because that's what I do as a living. What they do is not for a living. That's an event, that's an organized assembly, which is a protest. So there's a clear difference than for what we were doing and what they were doing. Now, what people want to, bring up is the fact that, like, oh, well, why did you do it there and then when they were there at that time? My performances are my voice. They are my whole energy. So if I want my voice to be heard and I want my energy to be noticed and respected, I have to show up. So there were interactions that I had with Eat Predators, and I agree with their platform. I support what they support. But the people in there have made direct targeted accusations against people that I know and now towards me, that I needed to make my voice and the other people's voices heard and amplified without amplification. And I did that. I got heard, I got noticed, and what I stood for was definitely heard and noticed. And I didn't have to say it once. And that's the power of my music. And that's the power of art. So art is an inevitable part of protest. It is your voice. But what they're doing is a targeted thing. Now, the next time that I come out there, I will call it a protest. Because guess what? That's still part of the First Amendment, and I'm allowed to do that. You can counter protest. And in fact, what she's doing, she's protesting at performances. And I'm performing at her protest. Why can't it be the same thing if it's the same law that we're using? Thank you.
One thing.
Oh,
I do want to say, I don't think they're really doing protest. And I also would say that the last thing that we were doing was like a demonstration where, well, at least for me, because I did have a sign that said, my permit is the law. I was trying to keep things simple. I don't want to complicate shit, but I am a presence. I exist on the planet. I'm not going to be blocked and deleted. I'm not. My history remains. My experience remains. My impact remains. And if I'm a victim, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. They're victimizing me, guys. I don't know when I've ever done that ever in my life. I think I pretty much actually get my ass kicked and I get up and I just come back and I'm like, hey, are you guys going to batter my heart again if I show up as the authentic version of myself? Or do I have to turn into a monster in order to be present in society and just never love anybody and never offer anything to anybody, never accept anything from anybody? Like, I don't know. What do I need to be accountable for, Nila? Let me ask again. What exactly itemized and not, I feel these ways. You made me feel a date and a time where I did a behavior so I can actually work with that information. That's what accountability is about. I can tell Alexa what things she's done. In fact, we were about to have a mediator come in that asked for a list of offenses so that person could be on the same page with everybody that have been offended, and they would actually have something to work with instead of, hey, Alexa, people are upset with you. They think you're a bad leader. They think you shit on everything that you touch. Every time somebody leaves your presence, they feel sad and don't like you. They don't like you at all. You're dumb, Alexa. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody said, you know what? Somebody's going to clip that, soundbite it, and try to say that I said it. Fuck you for that. Go ahead. I offer it to you, motherfucker. I give it to you freely. Warp my fucking narrative. Warp away so I can pull context later and make everybody look fucking different than they're trying to make themselves look. Speaking of, if you seek Britney, lying left and right about what their fucking internet footprint has been all over this. I didn't really know what's going on, but let me tell everybody what's going on. You bitch. You bitch. What? Is that my Reddit? Yes, I know that's your Reddit. And I know that you cost me negative 75 karma points because I showed up and I showed my open letter to your community. Fuck you. No. God damn it. You know?
She's dirty. She's a dirty dog.
Go find out who you are for real, too.
When you're fucking up and need to be held accountable. That's a double standard. It's like so... I mean, it's laughable, dude. And you guys are embarrassing yourselves and you're ruining shit for, like, more than just you guys. I mean, you're damaging so many people, so many survivors that have never came out, that will never come out, those that have already had, the ones that are probably being helped by Jeff Anderson. Like, you're fucking...
Oh, shit.
I can't believe she's bringing him up by name. honestly can't. I have to think about that before I have anything to say.
I googled.
People that really need help. And if you could have just taken a little bit of accountability and had a little bit of humility, because oh my God, there is no way, Alexa, no fucking way. You have just been victim after victim after victim in your life. Same thing with Kaylee. Same thing with Shift.
Pause.
You know, the same fucking.
I don't know what she's talking about with Kaylee. What I understand at this point is there is a fair amount of reasonable public criticism for Kaylee reposting other people's stories and not vetting them. And so there's been some people that have had potentially misdirected aggression come their way as though they are predators, when it's somebody like Alexa who's lying about shit, bringing it to somebody like Kaylee who's broadcasting it. And it's not exactly Kaylee being deceitful inherently. However, I also want to say, I don't know what, when she, again, Kaylee and I are not cool. I don't think we're ever going to talk again. I don't know what Nila is referring to when she makes that claim about Kaylee or me. I don't know what she's talking about. I am not a constant victim. In fact, if anything, I'm like a Messiah complex hero bitch. That's what I need to work on with myself. I'm not anybody's victim. That's why it doesn't work to victimize me. That's why I respond and react the way that I do, because it's ineffective. I do not play that role. I don't appreciate people acting like I played that role. It's a form of gaslighting, and I reject it. Back to you, reject it. I don't know what your problem is, but when you talk about me like that, it's activating a different level of conflict. It's a whole other type of lie. It's a whole other type of mischaracterization, malignment, fuckery that isn't fucking true. And maybe it's a projection thing. I don't see it in the people that say it about me. Then they say it about me, and I'm like, where does this come from? Perhaps it's literally projection, where they've only processed so far. They feel victimized by their life. They feel like they're a victim. And when I speak in ways that resonate with them or make them feel inferior, like they need to grow to the level I'm at, or make them feel like I'm in a different world with the way that I operate or process my shit, that might create some kind of a diversive jealousy or something like that. I don't really know why people are saying this about me, but I reject it. I think it's stupid, frankly. I think it's fucking bullshit. I think it's a dumb commentary. I'm probably not going to get this the way I want it, but I'm going to try and unearth my therapist to come and make a presence and make some public comments. I have gotten him to do more than a normal therapist does before, because people do this kind of, the nonprofit I'd mentioned before tried to gaslight me in a similar way. We don't have the housing services, but your mental illness Shift, you're clearly mentally ill. Oh no. We have free counseling with peers. They're not real therapists. We can give you that for free anytime. That clearly is an indoctrination program. That's damage control to get in my head and make me a crazy person. So by the time I get out into the real world away from this nonprofit, they've gotten me so spun, thinking that at least they're offering me mental health services for my mental health problems. That's not a fucking thing. That you can't heal with what hurts you. So why would a nonprofit that did all this fuckery to me be able to, you know what I'm saying? So previously in the past, I have been able to unearth my therapist to come and actually show up in the real. I know they're supposed to be basically a figment of our imaginations or whatever, but we'll see. He probably won't. But I feel confident enough that I'm down to say that, where I'm like, I've been working with, I am in treatment. Talking about I need help. Go.
I have a therapist too, and having a therapist is a good thing. That means you're taking care of yourself. All the people who are saying this about Shift, they don't have therapists.
Oh, yes.
So that's what really needs to be talked about. But
shit I've had to realize about myself. We cannot be eternal victims in this life, or else we are the ones fucking victimizing ourselves. You cannot be that dumb at 30 years old, and I'll say it. And Sloan, don't even get me started on Sloan. Sloan is a moron, okay? I've watched that guy's shit for a while, and at first I was like, oh, okay, he does commentary, it's kind of cool, but I knew he was dumb. I mean, one time he said, bull in a China shop, and then he's like, is that racist? And I'm like, oh my fucking God, China? Like, fine China? How the fuck are you reporting on issues when you can't even pronounce half the words you're saying? Like, and when he showed up at the protest, I don't know if he was on drugs or anything, I'm not saying he was, but he was very like, he just like floated over everybody, and then he left his speaker there at one point, and he talked to me for a minute. Like, I don't think Alexa even bothered to introduce any of us because we're not real people to her. And but at some point I talked to him, and he knew I was a part of it, and he's like, cool, maybe I'll have you on the podcast sometime. And then just like walked off. And it's just like, these people are ridiculous. The people that they really are, they're fucking cloudy clowns. They're narcissistic, white privileged assholes, and people support them because I'm sorry, but the majority of the American public are fucking stupid. You guys care more about helping celebrities and freeing Britney Spears than fucking feeding starving people and fixing climate problems. And instead of actually...
I have time for all of that shit. I will do whatever I want. I don't like Nila demeaning people for caring about the humans that exist in the ecosystems of pop culture. It's not a real Hollywood's not real. It is technically, geographically, you'll find it on the map if you Google map it, but you can also go into Google and type in Oscar Grant Plaza, and that's what we renamed Frank Ogawa Plaza during Occupy. So shit happens in mapping and documentation and lore and whatever. The thing about this pop culture version of Hollywood, this place, isn't even real, and it's based upon, it's our collective manifestations, our imaginations portraying a concept on shit. So for her to act like Bam Margera, it doesn't matter that he's being incarcerated by people that are doing Black Mirror level fuckery in rehabs. And apparently it doesn't matter to her that at the same time as the group that found Bam, we find out about Amanda Rabb and how she'd been killed by the same woman. Probably, allegedly, potentially, maybe killed by the same woman. Something happened in there that doesn't seem right. Nothing that those people that were in control of stewarding her, they haven't spoken out in a way that makes me feel like they are not culpable in her death. So I don't know what to say besides I literally have time for all of that, except probably climate change, because I think we're fucked. And that's not me being like, I don't care about it. That's me being like, I don't know what to do. It's a tsunami, but it's so big and so far away or so close. I don't even know how to panic about that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to turn towards the balcony and play my violin over here, or whatever. Like, I don't know what to say about climate change. I can't help with that. I have plastic straws. I got fucking this shit that I'm doing. And my phone has cobalt. Like, I don't know what to tell you about that. I care. Clearly. That's what I got to say about that. For the rest of it, though, I'm going to give a fuck about everybody. Britney Spears, until I have reasons not to, or the day I fucking die. Bam Margera, even though I had to remember, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We let him hang out with neo-Nazis. Kat Von D and him are buddy. Great. I guess we give him a pass for that. We'll talk about it later, everybody. It's a freedom movement. Let's figure out this part where, are we sure that he's got his basic rights? Are we sure that he's seeing his kid? Are we sure nobody's medically torturing him? That's all.
And that's the point of rights, right?
Yes.
Like, you...
If I turn my back because he's standing next to a neo-Nazi, I might as well be a neo-Nazi.
Like, you have to uphold rights, even for people that you don't agree with. Like, that's the point of rights, that I can disagree with you and still have this like common exception for the fact that you can have that opinion, and that I can have this opinion too. So that we can have these moments where we're like, oh, maybe I don't know everything, and I should listen to what you're saying and see what I don't know. Or maybe you don't know everything and you should listen to me and wait until you learn something. We can't do that if only one person can talk. So we have to make sure that everybody has the right to be here. And when people are infringing upon those rights, that they back off and that we enforce that.
Well, and my thing right now, too, is I am literally being silenced in the sense that people have me blocked. Lots of people for no good reason have blocked me just because it's the trendy thing to do, which is it's fascist. It's trendy to be fascist, apparently, digitally fucking fascist. So unfollowing me and blocking me is a goofy ass fucking thing. Acting like you're clearing your life of me is just ridiculous. It's violence and offense in its own accord. But the I just got mad about Leah. That's it. And then I had to think about myself because I want to just talk like real shit is happening, but I have to code this person's name. How dare you, Nila, take love out of my life? You fucking bitch. You support me? This is how you support marginalized people. You pissed off both of us. Both of us are mad. Lappy's got shit to do today, and you forced another response to happen. Yesterday was spent all day trying to figure out, not all day, but a lot of the day. And we have our own stuff going on right now. A lot of our own stuff going on. Nila's comfortable in her home that her parents live in with her and her baby lives in with them. And she's going to go, she just took her anxiety medication and hopefully she settles down and it feels good to do this yelling thing, this triggered rant. How is this any different than all Alexa does is go out and I'm triggered and now I'm just going to have an outburst and that's that. I'm over here editing things. I'm interviewing people. I'm trying to get to the bottom of stuff and figure out how my heart is involved in this. And it's really confusing. And a lot of people think it's stupid. I'll bring it to people. It's already confusing. It's already, my heart's in this, and it's heartbreaking for other people involved that my heart's breaking for too. And then I talk to some people about it. They tell me it'll blow over. They tell me to ignore Alexa and it'll go away. It'll go away. What does that mean? Is that even adults talking to me, looking me right in the, they're reading my messages and saying it will go away, or that it's not important to them in their platforms when they talk about controversies and conspiracies all the fucking time. So as far as who's not important and shit, it's not about me caring about celebrities. It's about people who only care about celebrities. That's who she's talking about when she's saying that shit. But she's directing it again at me. And I'm like, why did you shoot me for no reason? And she's like, oh, Shift, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Oh, that's all you ever do. Is that what, did I miss a part? Did I fucking miss something? Or wait, was there something I did that was abusive in the middle of all that where I deserve something, except that at the end, Nila will tell you what I do and don't deserve for everybody. Like, I would appreciate it if she could actually think twice about things. She could have called Lappy. She could have called me. The press release has phone numbers on it. It's got email addresses. We could have talked before she brought her fucking big mouth ass on the fucking internet and ran it all over the place.
Yeah, we
could have connected.
We were expecting somebody like who actually is part of Eat Predators to make a statement, and this was the first person who actually addressed it, but then had all this misinformation that we had to actually clear up. So it's like, okay, you know, well, this is the first reaction that we do. But, you know, if you want to know more, you can contact us directly. You can ask us for a further statement clarification on something. You know, I mean, you can have your opinion regardless, but like, don't misinform, mischaracterize, like use the language in the statement that we use because that's the truth. And when you start veering from that and trying to make it into whatever you think really happened, that's when you start talking out of your asshole. So let's try to just keep it, you know, up here, thinking critically, okay? Not from here, just feeling and acting and reacting from that place of
maybe that's why bitches need anxiety medication, because they do anxious ass shit. Excuse me. I mean, hold on 1 second too. Nila came up with Haunted American Girl doll. Nila came up with Alexa. What during a period of time that me and Kaylee were having active conversations regularly to try to figure out how to bring everybody together. I don't know what to say. Again, I'm gonna just say what happened with Kaylee, and I'm gonna leave it to y'all to decide what you think about it, because I'm so beside myself at what went down with her. It's not even a between us thing. Like, it's something else, and it's such a unique story. It'll be a much shorter video. Go ahead.
Same fucking violent systems that were never designed to give justice to anybody, and you try to seek justice from them, when if you really fucking cared about radical change, you would fucking dismantle it. But I'm pretty sure at this point, with FBI, lawyers, probably CIA.
What?
So Nila talks a lot about dismantle the system while judging me being in Eat Predators, seeing the system of it and deciding, okay, I have the schematics. I'm dismantling this one. Once I get through this one, maybe I'll have access to something greater that it's connected to, and I'll dismantle that. When she's talking about dismantle the system, I don't know what she's talking about. She's gone into these fugue states where all of a sudden she's, when they start handing out torches and pitchforks, I'll be first in line. Huh? Where's the torch and pitchfork? Is it a store? Are they going to call like a ration line? Is it a big military truck that comes and gives it to us? Who gives you your torch and pitchfork in a mob? Like, also, I don't want to participate in mobs. While the torch and pitchfork battalion is going off and lighting their own house on fire, throwing bricks through their own windows accidentally, I'm trying to figure out real solutions. And that's going to involve, okay, shit, now the group has gone out of control. Free Britney is now eating Britney alive. Like, Free Britney's the new fucking paparazzi. And that's apparently not something I'm supposed to be concerned. I don't even care about, I do care about Britney, but less than I would in a normal circumstance. I care about what is wrong with these people that they don't realize they're acting like the paparazzi. They sound like TMZ. I have to do, that's my work right now. I don't know what is going to be happening otherwise with the rest of the freedom movement. I'm going to be dealing with the community that's eating itself alive eating celebrities alive. What the fuck is happening about that? That doesn't even have anything to do with the celebrities. That has to do with our mental health as a community. So fucking what? Like, I don't know. I'm an asshole. I'm a monster. I don't have a drop of love in me. I'm all abuse. I'm all whatever.
Allegedly, that this is some kind of fucking psyops experiment trying to destabilize the Mexican government, with social being some kind of plant and Alexa being some sort of counter-revolutionary while trying to claim like she has these huge ideals. She doesn't, dude. Like, she doesn't.
I'm all for a solid conspiracy theory. I am all for a solid conspiracy theory. I'm about that life. What though, girl? Like, I hear it. I hear what you're doing. I'm down to put a flag in it. We can stick a pin in that so that we can all re-reference it later. Girl, I don't think it's that big. I don't think it's that. I'm gonna say, maybe I'll be proven dumb later. I don't think it's that big or dumb. I think that what we're dealing with is opportunism and fuckery, and I the government's made up of people. Maybe it goes that direction. We also have various people with political connections in the chat already. So
I don't know. As a journalist, like, I've always been taught to think big. Like, you're not, like, when you make connections towards things that are seemed like grand illusions, right? Like, it's for the point for you to be able to take it down back to earth and see what is really plausible. And if sometimes the thing that sounds outlandish is too close to reality, you have to start questioning yourself, like, how much do you really know then? How much is really going on behind closed doors? So, there might be some strings attached to like some government agencies and stuff. And there are legitimate questions, but when you start to like kind of say like, oh, this is what's really going on, but you don't really know, that's where it goes into like not just conspiracy theory, but like you're really trying to get people to believe in almost a god. Like, it's creating a religion around an idea, and that's why we get called BAnon and stuff like that, when we start to think like, oh yeah, this is like this and that. But like, there's enough tangible evidence to like say this is happening, that we don't have to try to say like what could possibly be going on like this, because then it almost makes it seem like, well, maybe what she's doing isn't that big of a deal.
Well, and I have a concern about Xochitl being brought up like that in this moment, that is to destabilize the Mexican government through Xochitl. Because first of all, my concern with Xochitl is that she's being it's basic and manipulative. She came out of a highly, and there's a documentary she was in. It's on HBO. I was promoting the shit out of it when it came out. It's called Unveiled. I haven't seen it yet either, so I don't really know what her story is, but I met her and I just didn't have time to invest in doing the research, but I showed up to support her anyway, posting the shit out of her movie. What I understand about it is that it's a highly patriarchal cult, and that she was born into it, that her mother and grandmother were in it before her. And now I've been in many organizer meetings with her. She has had a lot to say in them, I will say. I don't want to get too into describing what her presence was like, but she would occupy a significant amount of time in the meetings and talk about her hopes and dreams in these very kind of vague ways that felt a little culty to me. And I wasn't sure if we were maybe having like just kind of, I don't know, like just sort of like a difference of approach or something like that. One of my concerns was that she talked a lot. She would just go into these feud states chanting or like monologuing, and then she would chant things like believe survivors, like it's a Zoom meeting with like 8 of us, and she's starting a chant, and it's awkward for everybody. And she would do it by herself, and she believe women would be another one, and it wouldn't be long. She'd just say it like 2-3 times or whatever, but it's like, that's weird to take it there kind of vibes.
Like basically, yeah, starting a chant, like if this was a sorority or something, like that's
she's just
weird.
Got a lot of feelings.
That's weird.
She's got a lot of feelings. So for me, when I approached her directly and I was like, you need to know that this stuff is going on with Alexa. She immediately blocked me and started publicly posting support for Alexa really soon, like within hours of that. And I don't know what the fuck could possibly be wrong with her ass to do that, but she doesn't know what's going on. And I know that she's had problems with Alexa that are tantamount to the things that other people have been describing, and nowhere near what I've gone through with Alexa. But for her to turn her back so firmly on me, people have been weaponizing my masculinity against me a lot in this and acting as though my pronoun gives them authority to conflate me with the potential worst of the worst type of predators. And I don't know what to do with that.
Because
it's not real.
What they're trying to paint all men as, they want to try and group all men into. So as soon as there's a man who's in the movement that is older and can be, at least accused of something, let's do it, because we already have this platform that we're doing this. Whether it's legitimate or not, it's just like, okay, well, how much rah do we need to create in order for us to just get some traction with it? And the bar has been set low, a lot, because they're used to doing it to people who already have accusations out against them. So when they have to formulate the accusation from the ground up, like you're a stalker, and now you're unsafe around children, and now you're creepy and old, and you're doing all this stuff, it's like, well, you have to have actual victims now. You have to have people who are legitimately experiencing these things, and they are saying this, and that's the platform that you're using. But nobody has ever said they felt uncomfortable with Shift, especially the younger people, until Alexa started to try to call him a stalker. And that's when people were like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, he is kind of creepy, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But he's totally disconnected now and far away as possible from the movement. And not because anybody was accusing him of being creepy, because his work was done. And at that point, he was exhausted and needed to take a break. And so now that he's lapsed in his involvement, it's that time to fill in this vacuum with all these accusations so that we can make it like, oh, he can't come back here now. Oh no, don't talk to him now because he's done. He's gone. We've excommunicated it. And it's like, well, now you've created a problem. It could have just been a clean cut, but now it's a whole issue that now we have to clean up. And then you're the dirty work. You're the dirty work. We have to clean you up and all of this stuff. And now the whole movement and everybody who's worked and, involved in it, has to try to wipe this out on their resume.
That's basically fucked. Yeah, people are trying to erase the fact that it happened. And by doing that, they want to erase the continuing consequences that are befalling me. And somehow I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Nila, you're never getting forgiven for that. I'm going to do that for the rest of my fucking life. I'm going to use, that's my one-liner. I so appreciate you doing that, because you've given that, my family that I'm estranged from, they get to use that now too. Ooh, somebody that, ooh, you're working with, ooh, see, we knew. Let's call up our therapist that armchair diagnosed and said that I have a personality disorder right as I was getting my psych eval that literally cleared me of all of that comprehensively. 11 months long. That doesn't happen 11 months long. Luckily for me, my psych eval fell right on the cusp of the pandemic and lockdown happening. Luckily for me. So things had to be held off, and we had to extend stuff, and you got to observe me different ways. And my diagnosis changed based on the pressure that was put on me, the clearly obvious environmental things that were happening, and how I rose to the occasion, how I worked through the shit. It's not like I'm not allowed to go into crisis. What is that? People, you're unstable. No, actually, I'm being put in a crisis, and I'm stabilizing through the crisis. Have you lost your fucking mind?
How do unstable people pay bills? How do unstable people have relationships? How do unstable people go on trips? How do unstable people survive through crisis?
Actually, let's step it back, because let's say I am unstable. Let's say there's someone in the room watching this right now who's unstable. What's the purpose of talking about it like that when we're in capitalism America in 2023 with the likes of Alexa Nikolas running the fuck out of Eat Predators? Don't even look at the comment section. with the likes of Alexa Nikolas, anybody in their right mind who gets mistreated in the ways that the world acts this way, if they're not rocked, but if you don't unstabilize by being pushed around by fucking life, there might be something wrong with you. Like, that might be the problem. Also, what is unhinged? What is unstable? Can somebody please define my behavior? Because the only thing Nila really defined was that I say I'm suicidal sometimes, or that I'm all the time. She said it was consistent, continuous with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which is funny because she really was in my life only when I was in crisis. She led me into the crisis by being a silent presence that was supporting Alexa and saying, I'm leadership and I'm present for. She came to book club and didn't say, I don't want to be here, and she wasn't supposed to start this. She came to book club and Alexa was able to introduce her as leadership, that she taught, hey, Nila is leadership. And so literally people will not show up and stand next to me to be like, I knew Shift and I was there and this happened and this is the way it was. But Nila will show up and use her presence, her social media profile, her energy, her respectability politics, presenting ass fucking bullshit self to make Alexa seem legitimate to me. So I had no reason to believe, with all these nice women around, all these nice survivors, all these young people and different folks and older folks. Shay is 39. Shay's 2 years older than me. I don't know what to say about this shit. Like, it wasn't like I was the oldest person in the group. It wasn't like I was the only oldest person in the group. There was a range of ages and nobody could have known who was going to show up when we got there. Additionally, I want to say the first book club was open door policy, and people like Michael Gill were able to come in there, screenshot everybody, and future docs and harass all of us, right? Not only was that the case, the second book club, she throttled the invites and she didn't let everybody back. So she selectively handpicked us to be in that room. Then she gave us all access to the Discord. Was I supposed to say no? I needed community. I enjoyed their company. I was interested in what they were putting on and thinking about going to travel to LA just to check it out a little bit. But I was also planning to possibly move to LA. So, and that had been going on for well over a year before ePredators was even like considering itself, according to the earliest timelines of it. So I don't know what the fuck to say other than that. And again, I'm not responding to any comment section. I saw you pop up in there with your bullshit. I'm not responding to that. To you saying that, we're responding to Nila's video. I don't know who the fuck you are or where you came from with that talk. That's not how you're speaking to me. I reject it.
Yes. Everything she's done in her life, I've learned she takes something from a person she knows. She co-opts a piece of their identity. She absorbs it. She studies it. She learns it. She's a performer, and she is severely traumatized, no doubt, from what she's been through. And because she has such a unstable self of identity, I assume, and a lack of coping skills, healthy, mature coping skills that people in the real world get because you get knocked around, and because she's been in this bubble of just being coddled, she doesn't know, and she's just wreaking havoc on so many lives, and it doesn't have to be this way.
I gotta say something.
Everything that she did.
Alexa, I don't know where she, I mean, maybe socially wealthy, but I feel like Nila conflates. Sometimes she just gets on these rants and says words, but she described a version of Alexa that's somewhat real and somewhat not. I would say it's fair to say wealthy in the sense that she does get free legal services from these extremely high profile lawyers and legal advisors for no reason. Like, her case is possibly not even legitimate. According to from what I know, other people that this firm has taken on have had to do whole like PowerPoint presentations to big rooms of lawyers that have flown in from all over the world at times. I don't know if that's every single time they take a client, but I know that's happened in situations where it's actually been pretty easy evidence that what went down went down. And from what I understand, from what I've been told, Alexa was literally slid in and signed with this law firm within a week of introducing by one of the other clients, by a shared relationship it was professional and personal to some degree. It's very messy in that scene. Very, very messy. This law firm also, I will say, because I don't think I have a reason not to, they have a client advocate there that I have been advocating for myself on my show. And I actually haven't stopped advocating for this person. I've been putting a little headline down at the bottom of descriptions for a while. I was announcing something at the beginning of every episode. This person previously has worked A&R for entertainment industry operations left and right. This person has been a pretty big name celebrity musician, and is not in a position to be a client advocate. So what ends up happening in the position of client advocacy is there's a lot of A&R, which works for PR, which works for Jeff Anderson and Associates. I'm not going to speak much on them at all. What I will say is you can kind of get a sense of what sort of cases they've handled. If you want to watch, there's a movie on Hulu called Leave No Trace that Jeff Anderson and Associates makes an appearance in towards the end. I'm available to talk about this. I'm just not available to talk about it in this video. So,
okay. So, here than now, white woman, respectability politics, as Shift loves to say. I mean, the whole violent, non-violent communication shit, I don't do that. That's white feminism. I will speak violently. I have violence in me. My people have been
Nila, fuck you, man. Fuck you, Nila. Fuck you for talking about me like this, man. I will speak violently. I will speak violently. I will say what I need to say. And it's not even violence. I actually don't appreciate that word on it. Aggression, violence, these are very nuanced things. I'm not violating anybody by being impassionate and talking about shit people don't want to hear about. I understand what it's like to be somebody's fan. I get it. Your brain's not working right now. You're basically high. I get it. I'm going to say things that are going to piss people off. I'm going to say things too. I don't know what I could possibly be accountable for, because people have been talking about accountability for quite some time, but nobody's telling me what to be accountable for. And don't even start fucking typing, JTP. Shut up and listen. Or leave. I don't fucking care. Don't talk to me like that anymore. You don't know what you're talking about. And if you are someone that personally knows me and this is how you're engaging with me, fuck you even more. You have direct access to me, and this is dehumanizing approaches that are meant to conduct a narrative to turn me into a criminal who is worthy of incarceration or death. Do you all realize how high the stakes are right now? I am going to continue telling the truth. I'm not intimidated by this shit.
Violated for centuries, okay? That does not come with deep-seated anger and trauma. Something you know nothing about. So I will speak angrily. I will speak violently. I will speak the truth, and I will speak my emotions because I have a right to. Because I'm a human.
This is the definition of respectability politics paired with white fragility and white womanry. The fact that she's taught, I don't know what trauma Alexa might have been through. I don't know what might have happened to her to bring the person that she is into our lives. I don't like what Nila's saying right here. She's not even talking about me. She's not talking about Kaylee or anybody that I know in any situation besides Alexa right here. This is an inappropriate approach. It's unethical, Nila, for you to talk about Alexa like this. It's contradictory to other shit you say. Stop putting yourself above everybody. That's respectability politics. You do it with me when you say, oh, I marginalized and blah, 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 but I'm blocking and deleting you and fucking not going to promote your work or anything that you're doing or talking about in the situation. Only center your own voice. Fucking asshole. Who do you fucking think you are? I see you and what you're doing, you know? Anyway, oh, I'm not into nonviolent communication and I'm not into respectability politics, but Shift is saying that what you are doing it in this section right here. Go watch yourself talk again. Go rewind your own rant video and watch your fucking self, Nila, fucking talk again. Watch yourself. Listen to what you are saying. I have to edit my podcast. I say dumb shit all the time. Sometimes, especially towards the beginning, when I didn't know myself well, I'd be in there editing and I'd be like, oh shit, I should cut that. I don't like the way I phrase that. And sometimes I don't, because I deserve to look stupid sometimes. I am stupid sometimes. I'm a fucking human being, comprehensively, all the time. I don't want to deny that. I don't want to discount that. I'm not going to allow other people and their stupid projections to come on to me. I will show this to the court, show this to the cops, show this to God. I don't give a shit. Show it to the world. I'm fucking mad for reasons. Now I'm mad at Nila because I'm like, oh, Nila's coming out. Oh, she doesn't like me, but she's going to support me. How exciting. I wonder what she'll explain when she finally tells people why she doesn't like me. And then I'm creepy. I'm abusive with no context. I make people uncomfortable. Do you have any idea how fucking foolish what you're saying is? How unhelpful what you're saying is? For any purpose. Be accountable for being creepy. Shift. Huh? Okay, I'm listening. Now what? No, nobody's here. Everybody blocked me. People are more people are unfollowing. Leah's unfollowing me now, saying it's not my fault. Don't blame myself.
By the way, there is like some actual creeps in the Eat Predators movement. Like, and it's a little creepy that Alexa is kind of inviting them into the movement without any vetting, without any background checking, and just grouping them all together. And some of these people have either like neurodivergent issues, but some of these people have obsessions with Alexa.
Yes.
And with her child acting.
Yes.
And then she puts her child on Instagram in a, very exposed way that she felt uncomfortable as a child. And Dan Schneider definitely likes. And then she puts the people who are attracted to her and her child, I guess, in the same room. It's just so scary.
It's weird.
And then she wants to say somebody who she invited into her home to actually take care of her and her career and her child and her family and everything, in a sense that emotional support, and also to provide skills to help her work. Then once they're done doing that, they paint them as the
paper towel and
worst.
toilet paper. One of the days I got there, that her mom was over doing the dishes. I had to leave and go to the store and get paper towel and toilet paper for the house. Kind of shit. I don't care. I don't. I was where I was. I went through what I went through. They were supposed to pay me back for stuff like that. And not only did they ghost me on everything else, they literally didn't pay me back. I bought milk at the expensive store. I went to Erewhon and I bought nice Clover milk in the glass bottle for Nova. Fuck you guys for shitting on me like this. I was a friend. I was a professional, and I am being maligned. I am going to continue to stand up for myself until you guys take me out completely. Put a bullet in my head or something. You're really going to have to knock me all the way out. I'm not playing around. I came and I did good things, and I was simple. I'm not that open with people. I don't have that many new friendships that I'm constantly developing or whatever. It meant something to meet the people in this book club. And Alexa wasn't a big part of our community in the Discord and the book club. It was almost like she put us together so we could take care of each other. And she kind of played Cupid. Shift, you house sit and pet sit. You should know Annecy. Annecy house sits and pet sits. And then connects us. Annecy's 25. So I'm like, okay, like I have to be a mentor to this person if we're going to be in kind of a friendship. And then Annecy's got a lot of life experience. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Like, all right, sure, that's who's in the room. Like, I got to meet Shelby, who was 28 and trying to write professionally.
I'm 28, by the way. So
we're sharing a room. So it might be bad for me to be around Lappy, Nila.
Oh my God.
Where's the fucking line, Nila?
Oh my God.
It's 25, I bet. So that we have a pass here and Nila won't have to explain herself. Or she won't. Well, there's not really a hard line, but it's weird because I won't be specific, but I'll tell everybody I was creeped out, but I can't say why.
You know what? It actually makes me
So
uncomfortable and creeped out that people think somebody like Shift that has helped me, that has been loving and supporting through times that I was going through, and I know has extended this kind hand to all of the fucking people that are calling Shift creepy and feeling like they were uncomfortable. And to say that, and I'm here, with Shift in as close as contact that I think any of them has been, and I'm like, y'all really feel this energy, this person makes you uncomfortable? Well, maybe it's because they point out flaws in people who actually need work. And some of you people need a whole building renovation. I'm telling you, top down. And honestly, I'm somebody who got my shit together so that I could meet Shift at their level. So when you start talking about like, oh, Shift needs to like do some work on themselves and isn't looking at what their, problems are and their defaults, and everybody's not perfect, but like somehow Shift is like the least perfect out of all of y'all. For real? Come on now. Shift is the one person who comes in to help you when you don't have your shit together. So to paint Shift as that person after you got your shit kind of sort of together, and it really wasn't all the way, because as soon as Shift left, it kept falling down. And now here y'all are just sitting in the pieces trying to say like, Shift, what? No, that's not okay. Okay. If you didn't have your shit together before you met Shift, and then when Shift helped you, you started saying, oh, well, Shift is, kind of like making me uncomfortable. I have to cut off contact because Shift is abusive and all this other stuff. Honestly, that's my friend. That's somebody who has been in close contact with me for half a year, or if not more than half a year. And I absolutely disagree with all of these people and what they're saying about him. It's just not true. And I don't know, why you guys would say this. If you especially had the same kindness and love at your disposal that I do right now, because that's like dangerous for you guys to have this type of person in your life as helping you, and then you cut them off. Like, y'all don't have no lifeline now. Y'all are literally out here just like.
What they have is the narrative to try and keep whipping it up. They have some. It's like a habit now, because while Lappy's flying out across the country to really spend time and get to know me, and all of this like is gonna go the way it's gonna go. People like Leah and Nila and Autumn Whitaker and like basically everybody but Kaylee and Kay. And I will expect Kaylee and Kay to block me by the end of the day. Unfollow or block me by the end of the day. I don't every single day for the rest of my life. I don't fucking care anymore. Everybody can go ahead and do it. But while Lappy's out here doing that, all of these people who had closer access to me, who had my phone numbers for a long time and all of this, y'all are just going on your phone and you're blocking us. And let me tell you, last night, I will say this. We're staying at a place right now. The landlord here locked one of our housemates out last night. And I had to let her in at 12 o'clock at night. She texted me. It accelerated and he locked me out.
I was asleep. I felt bad because I couldn't help her. Okay.
The landlord has an app. We don't have keys here. So he could just be in his bed, dick in hand, beer in the other hand, barely just reach over and tap his phone to delete her. He didn't have to do any work to do that shit. So fuck you all for blocking me. You can't even say it to my face. You can't call me up and be like, hey, Shift, let's talk about something. Because the problem is when people have done that, then we end up actually talking and they're like, I don't know why I called to break up with you in the first place. This is weird. My bad. We were up there. There's a defamation circle happening about you. There's like a whole club basically committed to defaming you. And I'm a part of it. I didn't really realize I was a part of it, but that's what this turned into. So sorry. And then sometimes we'll keep talking. If they end up cutting me off after that, it's cold. It's like I don't even get a word or nothing. The last couple of times I've been expecting follow-up from somebody who goes to talk to Alexa. And then the next thing I know, I'm blocked. So I don't know what kind of crazy shit she was saying privately before making public posts about me. But I'm not going to fall apart under this shit. I'm also not going to just let it happen like it's not hurting me either. If I want to cry on live and be hella cringecore, if I want to turn on some music and spin 1,000 times like Britney Spears, if I want to get on and say, fuck you, Nila, for coming out and say, I support Shift, and then literally say, I was waiting I was excited when you said you didn't like me and you were like, I support you anyway. That actually activated me so much. That was like my social justice turn on, my whole heart. And I've been having chest pain for like a week and a half, week and 2 days now. But it like lit me up. And I was waiting for you to give good reasons why you would say, because it's not even just you're saying you don't like me, actually. When you gave the reason why you don't like me, didn't have anything to do with what happened between us, didn't have anything to do with Autumn Whitaker getting in your ear, didn't have anything to do with me messaging you again, saying that I thought it was irresponsible and damaging for you to say that Kaylee was abusive when she was grieving and having legitimate expressions. I thought she's had plenty of illegitimate expressions, in my opinion, but I don't think any of them have been her talking to me. It's when she talks about me to other people that we've got a problem. But I think it's irresponsible for you to be dragging of all the things that Kaylee's done wrong. Don't demean people for grieving. Hold space for their grief. Angry, upset. How are people supposed to be angry if we don't get angry at each other? Forgiveness matters. Other people matter. Kaylee matters. Like, I don't know what to say. It's irresponsible to talk that way. So I don't know why you actually blocked me, but what you told the public, I'm baffled by why you would ever say the things that you chose to say in your kind of, I just took my anxiety medication delusional rant. Maybe we could say your anxiety meds just kicked in and you weren't quite right in the fucking head by the time you started calling me abusive and creepy. You just didn't have a care in the world when those words were coming out of your nasty little mouth in the middle of the fucking night. similar to the time that Alexa's tweets came out to her community. Why are you siloing insomniacs who care about you to feed them that kind of messaging?
Because the asterisk that you put on Shift is the big fucking red, spotlight that Alexa put on Twitter.
Yeah.
Is that, oh, Shift has made me uncomfortable. Look at this. Oh, Shift has a picture of my kid on Instagram.
I have permit. She took the picture, texted it to me, and told me to post it. It's been up since October. This is a brand new act she's putting on, and people immediately decided to join her in the flash mob. Fuck all of you for that. Every single person who said anything. Yeah, just fucking get rid of that guy. Bye, JTP. Bye. I don't know what to say. I usually actually don't remove people, but I'm not going to stop this from happening. I don't know what your problem is, but you don't belong here. You're not welcome. You're not welcome in this space. And we've listened to you for enough time. You've had enough time to get your shit together and have something reasonable and humanizing to say. You're not going to sit here and start with, well, Alexa must be right, so now I'm telling you how. That's not a thing. It's not happening on my channel. It's not happening. I will give you a minute to compose yourself. You can start on that foot. Show up and not know where you are and who you're with. Then you get a second to figure out who you're dealing with. And if you can't fucking work with that, I'm not here for you. We don't have time for you. We don't. There's plenty of mob out there. You go echo chamber with y'all motherfuckers. Right. In fact, all you dumb bitches go get in one room together and come up with some ideas and do them in public at me. Like, let's see.
We know people who literally like limit comments on their stuff after being asked questions that are legitimate and respectful, and then being dogpiled by their echo chamber. Like, don't act like because we are asking for respectful questions and respectful language and removing anybody that is not willing to at least treat us like human beings.
LOL might be removable. Too. I'm not sure. Hold on, wait.
Yeah,
Eugene, are you gonna act right? No. Give him a second. Give him a second. Give him a second, because he might really be legit. We have history together. We've had some things go down. I don't know if he's showing up here LOLing in support or LOLing just so that I know he's in the room like he's some kind of powerful entity of some kind, or if he's here because sometimes he's down. Like, sometimes he's the kind of person that's like, I don't like you, but I support your rights. And so I don't want to make assumptions, but we have not been cool for quite some time. And here he is showing up in the comment section just saying LOL. So I would can you give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down to give us what your agenda is, why you are here?
Like, you're free to
be quiet if you want to sit quietly, but don't fucking laugh again unless you're going to give context for what you're laughing about, please.
Like, if you have an opinion, that's one thing. If you have nothing to add to the conversation and only really to just distract and draw away from what we're talking about, then you can see yourself out now, because we're having an on-topic conversation that is respectful.
We're good.
So
we're good. Thank you.
That's all we're asking.
Can I call you later? Can I text you later? Do you want to know more details? It'll be like in a few days, or we can set up a time. Let me know. Let's keep going.
And I was hurt, and I tried to help you. I tried to fucking help you. And this is how you repaid every single person that tried to help you, Alexa. And not even just in Eat Predators. I think it goes way farther back than that. I think you have been destroying a lot of people's lives, and it started from probably a very young age. But you're not going to destroy mine, because I have nothing that you want, and I want nothing that you have. I don't want your fucking fame. I'm not trying to get some career that you can lord over me and threaten me. And really, if you do any shit to me, you and Joe and Anderson advocates, whatever, I will fucking call it out. You guys will look so much fucking worse, because what you're doing is David and Goliath, and it's, again, abusive, unequal power dynamics. It is me, one person individually. Shift, one person individually over here. All these people individually, we don't even all like each other, but we are united in defending the truth. Okay, so this is not something we've been set up to do. Okay, because I don't do this like, woo, okay, I want to fucking get back to my life. But with the shit that you're doing right now, people need to know about it, because it has severe consequences. You're gonna get 2 black people, 2 queer black people potentially killed. You will not be harmed, Alexa. They do not want to harm you. I do not believe say you are the aggressor.
But what we need is not only for people to just say, oh, I don't believe Shift is a stalker. We need people who actually saw and heard and were either at the protest or were at the previous protest or were in the book club, or actually people who Alexa has around her to be saying this and not saying they would or could or saying it in private, but actually doing what Shift is doing, coming out saying, these are lies. And the only people that are really actually amplifying that are people who have no knowledge of the situation or are very disconnected. Like I don't know if she says it here, but she's said it in other videos. Like, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't even know how they met. I don't even know what happened. I'm just saying that, like, I felt like a vibe too. And it's like, huh? How do you feel a vibe from afar? Can you please tell me how you do that? Because if you're not there and you're not seeing it, you're not hearing it, you didn't receive any private messages that were uncomfortable, and you can't have screenshots and post that, well, then you need to either just be quiet the whole time or say, I support you. Not, I support you and I don't like you for the reasons that Alexa is saying, because that's contradictory. That is actually, like, that doesn't make sense. You can't say both things. And you made 2 videos saying both things, and that's like very problematic.
I want to say again too, I really was expecting her to say, well, Shift shit talks, or like, that's what I mean, there's things that I'm like, oh, I know if somebody comes to me with this, we're going to have kind of a difficult conversation, and I'm going to have to be accountable and sort of explain myself. I hope that no one's hurt by my words, but there's a lot of chaos and traumatized people around, and we're all dealing with each other. People are coming to me with mutual conflicts about each other. I'm having conflicts with people. I have shit talked. I expected that to at least come up in the list, even if other shit that didn't make sense came up. But she didn't say anything specific. It's all these like general energy concepts that aren't, that's like, I'm looking at myself. So, oh, no introspection. It says JTP, you little fucking asshole, you motherfucker. No introspection. How do you introspect on people telling you your personality is generally creepy after all the things that have actually been described in the timeline? If you read through the lines on the Will stuff and take out the sinister energy, think about what it would be like if maybe everybody who was invited to the book club, including Will, came in not knowing who else was going to be there. How could I know it was going to be a bunch of 21-year-olds? And it wasn't really. A majority of the people were probably between, I'd say 20 and 24, but there were people that were 27, 28. There was a 39-year-old that was 2 years older than me. Like, she was around very infrequently. We could have acted like she was a lurker. She's got a lot going on in her life. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, if you want me to introspect, what's it fucking for? Like, you know, and then if I start thinking too deeply about stuff, then it's like, oh, okay, all right, so this is about me as a person. It does go back. It is a pattern. Maybe it's real. What is it about me? Am I wrong here? Do I not belong in society with people? And then that's what kind of converts into what Nila was describing as, I weaponize being suicidal against people, and I'm all the time suicide. She reduced a lot of complex, layered, interactive experiences into that I am suicidal all the time and that I manipulate people with it. I don't even know what that fucking means. Like, I do know, but you can describe too, because we actually had a fucking moment that you handled like a motherfucker should with me.
Well, the thing is, I have major depressive disorder, and I've had it since I was 12 years old, which means that I will have suicidal ideation on and off for my whole entire life. And for me to even hear somebody who is, suicidal, is a trigger for me. So, like, I, need a trigger warning when you are going to be disclosing these feelings to me. But that doesn't mean I can't help you. That doesn't mean I'm not here for you. That doesn't mean that, like, oh, well, don't tell me that you feel that way.
And the day that we're about to get into happened, I knew you had a concert that night. Mm-hmm. And I was devastated. Mm-hmm. I was just absolutely fucking devastated.
Mm-hmm. So, like, I told Shift that it was one day that Shift was like, I am feeling this way because of these reasons. And, honestly, I don't know what to do. So I said, Shift, I'm here for you. you know, I'm sorry, but I'm not available emotionally today to be able to help you. So please wait for me to come back, you know, and fully engage with you on this level. Because for me too, I feel a lot of those same feelings at times. And I have my ways of dealing with it, you know, but I don't have the solution for everybody. So I just need, you know, to sit for a couple of days, process my things that I'm going through, and then when I'm available and ready, I can talk to you. And guess what? I did that, and Shift did not kill themselves. So I'm not at all, you know, like blaming Shift for my stress of having to deal with, like, first of all, that just shows that you're incapable of handling stress. You're just incapable of handling when people around you are going through things. And that means that you can't have relationships with normal fucking people. Normal fucking people go through shit. Some normal fucking people go through shit every single fucking day, all day. And that's normal. And to say it like, oh, Shift is suicidal all the time, for like probably a one time that you told me on the phone, by the way, Nila, that you actually felt Shift was feeling this way, and you thought Alexa was being insensitive because she didn't care. And now you've turned that same thing into a, oh, well, now Shift is an abusive person because they always feel this way.
Fuck you, Nila. I can't stand that shit. I don't know what to say. This is what I'm saying when I say you need to be accountable for your shit. You aren't allowed to have this double speak about me, about Kaylee. And again, I will say, Kaylee and I are probably never going to talk again. I have never been betrayed like I have been betrayed by Kaylee.
So
I have never been betrayed by somebody like I've been betrayed by Kaylee. I do not believe it is acceptable for you, Nila, to speak about people's mental health the way that you do about me, about Kaylee, about even Alexa sometimes. I've taken my hands mostly off the wheel, but I am going to point out that Nila came up with Alexa. Nila came up with the Haunted American Girl doll. It was fitting. It was suitable. I ran it. I keep it up. I'm probably going to name episodes after it. I might trademark it and make real dolls for y'all to buy from me so I can become a bajillionaire and with the ambition of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. And that's so evil in the open letter that's about me. And that's actually, Eugene, I'm looking forward to our phone call. If you will take a phone call from me, because I think you're going to like some of the fucking funny things that I would love to hear what just happened to you and the full circle nature of all of this shit. Yeah, that's mutual aid servers. Yeah, this one is a trauma mutual aid network that was misrepresented, and I think you're really gonna love this story. I think actually you'll probably want to come on the podcast again. I would love to have you back. It's been a bummer to not have you actually. So we'll talk about that later, though. This is an interesting thing happening in this moment. All right, let's finish.
So the choice that you have is to actually reflect, and I really think, and what I think we all need, okay, because I am not above this at all. I am also a survivor who is severely traumatized and has spent so much time trying to heal, and am still trying to heal. And I think you need help. I think you need to get that, especially because you're pregnant. You need help. You need to focus on your family and your child, your children, your husband. From what I understand, is not a very healthy dynamic. You are very emasculating of men, as I allegedly hear you were of Rye. So I have a lot of anger towards you and what your privilege and lack of prudence and, like, I don't know, morality, ethics, a heart has done for, like, a personal fucking agenda. Like, it's so gross, but this is not the year. Like, people are tired of white women doing this.
Okay. I think we could pretty much end it here because there's only 2 minutes left of it, and you know, she just goes on. But I have to say, you know, white women bullshit is the word of the day. But like, let's be clear, you know, some white women feel like Alexa is just ruining it for everybody, and I feel like this video pulls at that string, you know, without saying it, is like, hey, you know, like, now we all look bad. But like, guess what? You know, your actions look bad, your words look bad. You don't look bad just by being here. That's the thing. And by saying, oh, like now my presence is feeling threatening and is compromised, and like I'm vulnerable and exposed because now people are going to be criticizing me on another level, like the level that we should be criticizing everybody that y'all do 10 times, maybe 100 times to people of color and queer identity, thinking that they're predators immediately as soon as they walk through the door. And if we say that about you, that, oh, that white woman looks like a predator as soon as she walks in through the door, but of a certain type of predator that will call the cops on us because we're speaking out of turn, or we're speaking too loud, or because we are too aggressive looking, and because now we're creepy, we're now a threat that needs to be excommunicated. But if I call you even a sort of bit of kind of maybe racist, that's like intolerable for you. Absolutely intolerable. Like, I've just come for your life. I'm sorry that sometimes, racism exists and that you perpetuate it. I don't know what to do about it except for call it out. That's like, I mean, I can't stop it, but I can call it out, which hopefully will make you stop it. Maybe, and I noticed that a lot of times the more I call it out, other people are like, yeah, I saw that too. But why didn't you say nothing, girl? Y'all, all these white women saw that flying monkey comment, and nobody told Alexa, girl, you need to take that down. Why the hell do you have that up? You making us really look bad, girl. No, you need to take that down. And I'm gonna tell Lappy, I didn't have nobody tell me. I had to see it for myself. And I know goddamn well all of y'all would not even try to call me a flying monkey to my face. So for her to say that boldly on her page, and for everybody to say, yeah, I saw that, but you didn't say nothing. You waited until I had to say I saw that for y'all to say, yeah, I'm sorry. Damn, I don't know what to do about that. Like, she really disappointed me there. Well, why didn't you say that when you saw it?
She has established early on that she will immediately block people for speaking out against her in any way. That's how you got blocked, as you were saying something. So, it would be nice if people would go ahead and invite her to have the opportunity to have nobody in her life. If she's going to block you for doing the right thing, be blockable, be blocked. I don't know what I can't. That's one of the problems. Little Leah, who broke up with me last night, we are no longer friends. One of the book club people, because for her own safety, I'm guessing. I don't really know. Whatever. The long and short of it is, nobody wants to say anything about anything. People would rather block me and kind of pretend that the past didn't happen, is where things are at. And they'll tell me privately that they support me. They'll tell me privately that they were there and they saw what really happened, and that the narrative that's being conveyed is false and fucked up, but they won't make public comment about it. And then I get scared. Actually, I really want to respect people's rights. So I usually will say yes to that. And then a couple of days go by and things get worse. And I realize, oh, they set a boundary that they don't want to be involved publicly. And they also don't really want me to talk to them about it privately. So who do I have to talk to at all? I'm getting blocked left and right by people that don't have, frankly, I'm going to go ahead and say there is no justification for anybody that's blocked me in this incident at all. Starting with Alexa and her husband. They blocked me to communicate with me that they didn't want to talk to me anymore when we had a lot of open business on the table that I had done work for. The reason why I'm not putting receipts out is y'all, the general public, don't get to have them until they're public record through the court. And I'm taking my time and I'm figuring out what strategy I want to use. I'm looking into lawyers. I might actually want to represent myself because I don't know if I want to give somebody a few $1,000s to manhandle my case when I know how to do this myself. My only reason for having a lawyer would be that they get the mail done on time, that they get all the notifications on time, and they get all the responses in on time. But constructing it, writing it, I wish I could get just like a half lawyer or something just to do that practical part, because the clock in the calendar is something that might get a little outside of my capacity as I'm driving up and down the state to my repeat clients to do amazing pet sitting jobs and get paid $1 bajillion in a week. Fuck all of you. Fuck you all, you jealous bitches. I get paid on salary to write. I take care of people's nice houses. I wouldn't be in the position I'm in with my career if I was a fucking creepy person, Nila. Nila, do you want a job reference from me? Because I'll give it. If you fucking need something from me, I'll be your personal reference and your I've seen you show up and do work. So all the emotions fall right. It's like a 3-minute conversation to make sure you eat. Call me if you ever need me, Nila. Bitch. I'll make sure to leave the bitch out when I give a 3-minute. Nila's one of the most amazing writers you could ever find. She's on point. She's critical in the way that she approaches thinking, in the way she approaches social interactions. That's not a lie. I don't like the way you critically think. We don't have to like each other for me to want to see you live and eat. You don't get to say all the things that are going to get me killed and then say, Alexa, you're going to get these people killed. That's nuts, dude. How am I creepy? What have I done that's abusive? What time was it? When did it happen? Tell it like you tell it to the cops, because these people are judging me like they are the police, the judge, the jury, the executioner. I have been called a pedophile on Twitter now. Are you out of your fucking minds? Alexa took the picture, texted it to me, and told me to post it. It has been up since October. It's staying up. Consent for bodily autonomy is not consent for intellectual property. I am a serious media producer. Sue me. The term once permission's been given, oral permission, eternal access to whatever footage we're talking about. Oral permission gives me eternal access. If you want anything less than that, you will file with a fucking court and you will get a judge to give me a court order after you explain to a neutral third party what I did wrong and why you are revoking consent. Leave me the fuck alone otherwise. Because if Alexa had come to me personally and said, I'm uncomfortable with that picture being up, I'd like you to remove it, sent me even a cease and desist that's formal. She's got all these lawyers. Why is she publicly attacking me online? She never asked me to pull that picture down, ever. And in fact, there's two versions of it up. There's the original picture I put up. What she had pulled is a reel that had the picture of me and her kid, a picture of a book that she loaned me called Rules for Radicals, and a screenshot of ghosting on Wikipedia that describes how it's psychological torture, what it does to people's brain mechanics. So she wanted all of that removed. And my caption broke down the timeline of some of the events, ghosting me, blocking me from shit. I was shocked and I was grieving. And it captured my active state in that moment back in fucking, it was like October. It was November. It would have been November, like the second or third week of the third week. It was like right around Thanksgiving, because we had a Friendsgiving event with the Discord community that Alexa hadn't fucking RSVP'd to, that all of us who didn't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving were planning to meet each other at. And she pulled the plug on that, and a conference call from multiple people that were talking the night before because we needed each other in socialization. I think it was like a 4-hour conference call I popped in for a couple hours of. And then in that meeting, we were like, let's do this again tomorrow. Alexa interrupted our plans to come into the Discord and force one of the mods to remove me. I had ongoing relationships there. I am allowed to grieve. And I'm past it now, actually, because everybody's proven to me they didn't really see me as a person. They only wanted me for what I brought there. And as soon as Alexa turned on me, what they wanted was access to Alexa through me, was why everybody started getting closer to me through the end. So y'all never fucking loved me. Y'all never cared about me at all. And I've got people dropping into my DMs now telling me, oh, I'm going to break up with you as a friend now because reasons that don't really... I saw Nila's video, and so I'm breaking up with you and I'm done with this friendship. So sorry, it's not going to work out between us. But just know I saw everything. I know that their narrative is false. I'll never speak publicly about it. Hope everything's well with you. Bye-bye, Shifty. Also, just notable, people that call me Shifty and think it's a term of endearment tend to burn me like this. This is not the first time that I've been like, that's not really my name. And then they persist in it because they think it's cute. And we kind of push it to the side. And there's other things coming up. And then the next thing I know, it's okay, fine. I'm not going to hold on to anybody too tightly. I'm not. If you ask me to hold on to you, I won't let go until you tell me to. And then it's all right.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of consent, but that picture is my property. I own that picture. That image is mine. So to act like I'm doing something to a baby, the image is my property. I own that. I have permission to post it, and I fucking will. Over and over and over again. And if Instagram deletes my accounts because, oh, look, see, clearly problems, I will go over to Twitter and TikTok, and I will live my life over there. And I will post it again and again and again. You want me to go move over to fucking Parler?
And
jackasses, keep pushing me into the margins.
She knew she was triggering a lot of people with saying that.
She knows how she's crafting her rhetoric. Her midnight post in the first place about the stalker. Do not take this lightly. This is very serious, guys. Give me a fucking break.
So, she's conflating intellectual property with bodily autonomy, right? And in legal terms, those two are very separate, right? Like, because intellectual property is something that actually the creators of own collectively. So it's not one person can tell you what to do with it if you both created that. And for her to say, oh, well, I told you can't post that anymore, even though I told you could post that once, it's not like even the consent of her work is, being violated. It's the consent of a collaborative effort to create a picture, which anybody who is a model would understand that law. And actually the person who takes a picture is technically, the license holder. But when you are a model, you have a license with that person who created it. So that, either you're doing this as a work for hire, meaning like you're doing this and the person taking it owns all the rights, or you're doing it as actually a collaborator. And that is both of your pieces of work, because you are creating the vision for that content. You're creating sometimes the outfit for that content, the looks for that content, how that content is going to be shared. And that's why there's contracts when it's a work for hire. But when it's not a work for hire, it's typically assumed that you're doing this for an exchange for pictures. Like, that's the actual agreement. When you're a model and you don't sign a contract, the default is that you're doing this a trade for pictures. So you're freely modeling for the photographer, and the photographer is freely going to share those pictures with you to use in any fashion form you want, sometimes for profit or sometimes not for profit. And if it's not for profit, usually there's a contract in that situation, but default, it's yours. And you're able to use it however you want. So for her to even say, like, I revoked my consent, because that's your child, but it's a
picture of me.
Right.
You can barely see either me or the baby's faces.
The child is one part of the collaborative of the photo, and the parent was there. The parent consented to the child being in the photo. The parent consented to the other person being in the photo. I think it was another parent who took the photo, right?
No, it was just me, Alexa, and Nova in the house.
Oh, I thought it was her mom who did it. Okay, so Alexa took the photo.
Alexa took the picture, texted it to me.
And then
asked if I could post it, because I normally wouldn't. I took a lot of pictures out there. I didn't post anything from Halloween. I went trick-or-treating with them. I had a lot of cute stuff. There's pictures that they probably deleted that they never texted to me that are group shots of me standing next to Alexa's sister-in-law, Alexa's father-in-law, Alexa's mom's in the frame, her husband, the baby. Everybody's there, and we're all smiling, gathered up together. We had a great time. I talked with Miko's dad, her father-in-law. I was talking with him. I talked to her sister-in-law for a long time. We all had a friendly night. It was good. It was a nice night. It was the hardest part of the night was the traffic driving across LA on Halloween. Like,
and if we could get closest to the consent issue, there was a situation with a model who was doing a photo shoot, and she was actually assaulted by the photographer during the photo shoot. And there was somebody who was like present, who might have known, whatever, but afterwards, right, the photos come out and, they're sold without her getting a portion of it. And she's not even able to tell him to take them down. She actually posted it to her Instagram account. And that means that they were pictures of her she posted. And then the photographer took and sold, and she couldn't even get a portion of that. But she got what? All the free press?
I'll tell you too, it's a picture of me in a similar situation. It's being sold for it's in a range of $500 to $4,000 on this website. It's me walking around. I don't think there's active tear gas in the shop, but I'm covered. I've got like my respirator and my fucking bandanas and shit, and I'm walking with my peace signs up, and this line of like 100 cops behind me. And then I think you can see a handful of like Occupy people just like in the corner of the frame, because I was like pacing and walking. I didn't have time to have a physical sign. And so I was just like, the energy's getting spicy. I'm putting myself between everybody. And I would walk back and forth for hours while people would scream at the police. This is another stupid thing. People are like, stay safe, Shift. I probably won't. If I'm somewhere and I hear bullets firing near where I know people I know are, I'm almost I will black out and come to in first responder mode right next to the situation. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but I know myself well enough that I probably won't stay safe. So if y'all are really, as a community, turning your backs on me at a time like this, fine. If Alexa is going to eat me, if she's here to devour me, to crush me, to bury me with the power of Jeff Anderson and Associates and Joe Dunn and all of this shit, and whoever wants to galvanize some stupid ass idea that there's some kind of important person, and they all stand together, and then for 5 minutes at a time, they're able to just be still in the same room. That's so powerful. That's part of the problem right now, actually. One of the reasons I got blocked is that Jeff Anderson staged a fucking bullshit PR move and rented a conference hall up the street. I think this is what I've been told. Rented a conference hall up the street from a Grammys party with Music Cares. And then they had a conference where they rabba and put all these survivors of the music and entertainment industry come together. It's not even eat predators now. They don't even know what to call themselves because people don't want to be involved with Alexa and they don't want to be involved in her group, but they'll still go stand next to her after these people ask them to and give them free tickets to the Grammys party. So and hold it over people's heads. As far as I know, holding it over bitches had to fight for their tickets after they were told Alexa was coming, and they said they didn't want to be next to Alexa and they weren't going to the press conference part, but they would go to the party because they were at two different venues because they had to buy tickets to the party and rent the conference hall. They tried to play it out as though it was one event, and the headlines say things like survivors of the music and entertainment industry call out Grammys. Like kind of shit. Like it's like it really reduces it to connect. Alexa was at the Grammys is what they want people to think. Alexa's so important. She's like a presence at the Grammys, you know? And so if you wonder why we're going to go perform at the next protest, I'm about to try to be the best version of myself I've ever been. It'll be my first performance since 2019. And I only had one performance in 2019. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do some covers a cappella. I'm going to play some of my guitar. I'm not going to try too hard because I haven't played in a long time. I'm not going to try too hard to fuck myself up to perform a certain kind of way. Because I'm actually confident enough, Sarah McLachlan style, that bitch can entertain 100,000 people with just a piano and a microphone. I'm going to Sam's the microphone for a lot of it. And I'll have my megaphone that won't be the greatest sound quality. I'm singing for you guys. I have shit to sing.
Yeah. And TMZ, in general, you know, like I have business to take care of there, you know, because there was like the whole year last year between not only the Free Britney, but Free Bam, where like I called out TMZ directly multiple times that they know me. They know me very well because I've contacted almost like I've gotten in contact, not contacted. I'm sorry. Some of these people have contacted me and have, you know, had correspondence with, questioned publicly family members of the Margera clan and, you know, the team and the general team con that extends from Free Britney to Bam Margera and all the people in between. So, you know, they know me very well. They know my reporting style very well. And I'm pretty sure they will be ready to see me and hear my music when we go there. And I'll be, you know, performing with Shift some songs. So, you know, it's going to be like an actual kind of concert. And this time it's a protest concert. Yeah. But I'm still there to play music. I'm there to sing my songs. And none of these songs are written about Alexa. They're not written about Eat Predators. They're not written about whatever they're talking about. It's the presence, the energy, and that's all that we needed the first time. That's all we need the next time. So just get ready.
We will be live. We will be live probably on YouTube and Insta. I'm going to go live on YouTube. Lappy's going to go live however Lappy goes live. I'm going to try to get some tripods. We're going to try to get like a somewhat decent setup this time so our cameras aren't falling all over the place. And if anybody's like able to get to LA and wants to join us, would love to have you. Thank you for your time. This is a really long video. Really thank y'all for being present. There's more people than I expected to get in here for sure. It's more.
I mean, you know, share the video if you want to repost it, whatever, on your channel. Just, you know, credit it, of course. But yeah, people need to know because as far as I'm concerned, there's more people who are listening to Alexa than who even know who she's talking about. So like if the person who she's actually talking about finally gets heard, then at least all of the noise she's making it can't be silenced,
right?
but it can be toned down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that we can hear actually the other voices there. That's what's important. Like, not just, oh, Alexa shutting up. Alexa can say whatever the fuck she wants, but when she starts telling other people to leave and not say shit because she's more important and she's crying, well, I'm sorry. I'm
with an
sorry.
extra baby.
I didn't ask you to cry. I didn't ask you to come here pregnant. I honestly, if anything that I expected was you to be strong. And that showed me your weakness. Your weak point is people saying something. And that is a very easy weakness. So we're going to keep talking. We're going to keep saying whatever we need to say, which is the truth. And if you have to actually say anything to us, not about us, and not naming us something else other than what we are, who we are, you know, and then slyly telling people to ask me what my pronouns were at the protest. I held that.
Like, stop harassing
I held that.
us.
I held it.
Oh,
one of her people asked me, "What are your pronouns so I can talk about you on Instagram?"
Honestly, after we said go away, after Lappy said I'm going to call the police if you don't get out of my space, and they boxed Lappy in. I was sitting next to his fucking guitar, the violin case, and they boxed both of us in. Really, I would have had to get up and move for Lappy to get out of the way really safely at all. But in order for Lappy to move away from them, it would have involved stepping over the case and me. Yeah. So I'm not sure what that's about. But after that moment, and Lappy had to say, if you don't move away from me, I'll call the police. And they had moved away. They tried to holler back one more time. What are your pronouns? Excuse me. And these two people that they sent over were the only not white people. They were not very not white, but they were just barely the only not white people they had in their group this time. So that felt a little weird too. Especially with a couple people that I knew there. Shelby was there. I was supposed to edit her novel. I gave her an NDA for free. I put her name all up. It's my business asset. I passed it on to her because I wanted her to feel legitimate. So, yep. You know, she was there. She could have said something to me. You're making everybody uncomfortable for these reasons. Please leave. And I would have said, no, it's my right to be here.
All right. Well, we got to go. I got to go. Yes. So thank you so much for, listening to the whole thing. And, if you really want to know the whole full story of the protest, they did post the live, and still people just believe whatever they say without looking and seeing like, okay, well, were we like, for example, running into their protests and trying to show our signs in their faces? And no, in fact, we were away from them, turned away from them, and not even trying to engage with them. We were purposely ignoring them, and they couldn't stand it. They literally couldn't stand us just being there. And that's when it's like, okay, you can't have this animosity towards a single person and then the people that are supporting them when they're just here. Like that is a whole, there's a system, there's a history, the white supremacy. Yeah, like that's exactly what you're doing. And then you call the man on them. I mean, it's like nobody's thinking at that level, but they're seeing it at that level.
The police, by the way, absolute gems, most pleasant part of the day besides Lappy for me. They were great. All three of them. They had the two that came together. They had the white guy in his big rig alone. He showed up at the end. And they were all perfectly fucking nice to us. I willfully handed them my ID. Can you imagine? Eugene, are you still here? Tell them how crazy it is. I willfully handed these people my ID. I voluntarily gave them all the information that they were asking for and more. Like, I don't have anything to hide in this instance, and I don't have any reason to act like those people being weaponized against me is going to be effective. In fact, they have to be on my side right now because they document timelines. They document incidents. So inevitably, because I'm telling the truth, it's going to backfire that these false police reports were made.
And now we know something that we should know.
Yeah, that a false report was also made in Silver Lake about me. So I don't know who made it. I don't know when it was made.
That's how
that happened.
That's how it works when you tell the truth. Like then they'd be starting to put you on so that you know what's coming. So now we know what's coming. Okay, you trying to create a criminal background on two people who have no criminal record. So every time that we get stopped, oh, well, I saw a police report. You were named in a police report. Excuse me, can you check my name in your database again? And it says I don't have shit. So if somebody's trying to make something, guess what? We're gonna have to see that person in court.
Yeah, we'll get it all expunged. It's gonna get erased. I will see it all the way through. I got a sweatshirt on right now, or I'd show you the police badge tattoo I have on my bicep. Y'all don't know who you're playing around with.
So we'll see you there at TMZ.